to our weekly Wednesday webinar. I'm so glad you guys are here today. We have a lot of fun to go through today. This is a topic that I just love because I love design, I love staging. So I'm just gonna go through some really fun things for you today. So before we get started, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. We will have the chat going today. If you want to comment and talk to us, it's awesome. Just put it in the chat. Make sure, though, that you have got it selected for everybody and not just hosts and panelists. And while I get going here today, sometimes it's hard for me to keep an eye on the chat. So the amazing, wonderful, brilliant Robin Keeley, our Director of Operations, will be watching the chat. Say hi, Robin.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
There she is, superstar that she is. Love me some Robin. Okay. So here's my question. Oh, wait, actually, you know what? I'm going to do something because I know we've got some new people in the group and are joining us today, I do believe. So I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Kole Finley, and I am the principal owner and founder of Finley-RE Coaching and Consulting. And I'm also a business performance and transformational coach and trainer. I have been in real estate since 2009. The time is ticking away. It's amazing. I've been managing real estate companies and coaching real estate agents since 2012. I'm an instructional designer with over about 25 years, almost. I think it's more than 25 years now of experience as a course creator, trainer, and coach. I am the chief architect of our 12 Weeks to Breakthrough training and coaching program. All right. Before we get into the program, though, we've got some congratulations to go on. So happy about this. Okay. First of all, I want to congratulate Pam Doran. Yay, Pam. Pam just graduated from our 12 Weeks to Breakthrough program. She is amazing. Also want to congratulate Mr. Shane Cooper Blissett. He also graduated from our 12 Weeks to Breakthrough program. Yay. And I do believe that we posted his, I did an interview with him all about it. So you guys will have to check that out on the Facebook group. Also, I want to give a big congratulations because she just started our 12 Weeks to Breakthrough program to Stacy Hull. We love Stacy. And also to Yvonne Branks. She just started as well. So we're so glad that you guys have started 12 Weeks to Breakthrough with us. So glad you guys have started. Okay, so I have a question for you guys before we get started. You're here to learn all about staging and interior design. What I want to know is, what do you want to take away from today's webinar? What's the most important thing that you want to walk away with? What are you most curious about as far as staging goes? What do you think? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Tell me what you are most curious about. Robin, what is the most curious that you would be about wanting to know in this webinar today? What do you think?
I would say how to stage it as far as furniture that people have, because sometimes they have way too much.
Oh, you got it. Okay, we'll make sure we talk about that. Keith says color arrangements. That's interesting. Keith, can you tell me a little bit more about that in the chat? When you say color arrangements, are you talking about just kind of stuff that, where do you put color? What do you put color? A little curious about that. Linda says the latest in design today. Ooh, okay, we can touch on that. I love that. What else? Anything else for you guys? Sometimes the most common stuff is how do we talk to our clients about getting their home staged? Here's the thing. Oh, Adela says top 5 things homeowner can do at little or no price. We can absolutely talk about that. We will get in there. Okay. Here's the thing why this topic is coming up today. We are now coming out of that massive seller's market into a balanced market. What does that mean? We used to be able to just throw it on the MLS and then you'd have a million different people trying to bid on it. It's not that way anymore. And so what I want to make sure was we really get to you guys kind of what this whole thing is about, staging or interior design. Okay, so Keith says house is white inside, like a white box. How much color do you bring in and how? Oh, I love, that's a great question there, Keith. As a matter of fact, I even have a slide that can show you that. So we will talk all about that. Okay. Great. So here's kind of where my brain went as far as what we are going to talk about today. And I hope this will bring a lot of clarity to some of you guys. So the first thing, we're going to talk about the difference between staging and interior design. There is a difference, and a lot of people don't know it, and it's a very important difference, especially for you when you're talking to your clients. The next one is staging best practices when you're working with your clients. So how do you have that conversation with your client, and how do you get started with them? The next one is the importance of photography. We're going to look at a lot of photos today too. That's kind of fun. And then staging vignettes, composition, and before and after photos. Keith, that should actually answer some of your questions because we'll have some pictures there. And then do you stage it yourself or do you hire a home stager? These are going to be important things to know. Okay, I'm going to really jump in right here. And I want to start off when we're talking about the difference between interior design and staging. We're going to talk about the story of the big white pickup truck. All right. So if you guys think about a big white pickup truck, who do you think would be the ideal buyer of a big white pickup truck? What do you think? Do you think it might be someone like this guy right here? Okay. Average guy, maybe working class guy. He's going to go out and contractor, Keith. I love you said that. Absolutely. Someone who's a contractor would probably want to buy that truck. But what if I told you this particular truck was owned by her? All right. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about this truck. Okay. This is a difference between staging and design. So in this truck, inside, she's going to sell it now, but inside she has, from the windshield, she's got the little fuzzy dice. In the back window is a huge cling vinyl of lips. The chairs are covered with zebra covers. There is a steering wheel cover that's all pink. She's got butterfly floorboards. She has got lip gloss sitting in the console, and this is what her keys look like, and that's what she's doing. Now, I want you to imagine that this girl is the coolest girl in school because her truck was so cool. Oh my God. Everybody thought she was the coolest chick because she had all that stuff in her truck. But this guy, and not so much. So here's the thing. When she had the truck, it was designed, the interior was designed for the way she wanted it. And when she had visitors to her truck, people loved it because it showed off her personality. But if we want to sell it to him, it absolutely must be completely void of all of those things inside the truck. That's the difference between staging and interior design. Her truck, the way she had it all set up with all of those cool things that a cool teenage girl would like, is very different than the average buyer for that truck. And we would have to depersonalize, declutter, completely clean the windows, clean everything off in order for somebody who is buying that truck to be able to really like that truck. Now, the conversation that I just shared with you is exactly the conversation that I used to use with sellers when they were getting ready to sell their home, especially if their home was highly designed and not ready for prime time as far as staging goes. Because there was nothing wrong with this teenage girl and her truck. Matter of fact, that was the coolest thing ever. Everybody thought she was amazing. And it was her personality. Okay. What we need to understand about staging and interior design. So staging, that is the decor shows off the room. You want to see the room when you're staging. Okay. Interior design, completely different. Interior design, the room shows off the decor. The room shows off the decor. Two separate things. And it's vital that our clients really understand that. So let me tell you just a little bit more about that. Okay. So staging. It is the process of preparing a home or property for sale or rent. And the goal of staging is to create an attractive and welcoming environment that helps potential buyers or renters to envision themselves in the space. Now, it typically involves depersonalizing this space, removing personal items and clutter, rearranging furniture, and adding decorative elements to create a cohesive and visually appealing look. Now, let's talk about then interior design. It is the art and science, and there are both of those, of designing and decorating interior spaces. The goal of interior design is to create functional and aesthetically pleasing environments that meet the needs and preferences of the occupants. Now, it is also interior designers work with clients to understand their goals and preferences and then use the expertise to create a design plan that includes color schemes, furniture layouts, lighting, which is so important, decorative elements. Interior design can be used in residential, commercial, and public spaces and may involve renovations or new construction. So when we're really talking about staging and interior design, we can also think in terms of this home exists, and we want to make sure that for staging, it really is about creating a space where anybody can walk in and they can envision themselves. Interior design, we want anybody to walk in and go, wow, I can see the personality of the owner. All right. So far with me, is everybody kind of getting the understanding of what interior design and staging is so far? We're really understanding that now, because what I really want to go into now, let's go deeper and deeper into the staging conversation. So what do you think is the single most important thing that your clients need to do? And put this in the chat. The number one thing that if you have a seller, the number one thing that they need to do to get their home ready to be sold. What do you think it is? What's the number one thing? Put that in the chat. What do you think is the very first number one thing? Lynn says declutter. Lynn King says clean. Absolutely, absolutely. Fantastic. You're both right. Declutter is the first. Lynn, you are absolutely right. We got to declutter. We got to take stuff away. Once we do that, depersonalization, right along with that, absolutely. You're right, Adela. And then clean, clean, clean. Those three all go together. Before you have to worry about staging and decor and furniture placement, that's the absolute bare minimum. You've got to declutter, clean, and depersonalize. Now, when I say depersonalize, there should be no family photos anywhere. No family photos. That's the biggest thing. If anybody ever walked into the house that's listed and up the staircase or the whole mirage of family photos, do you start picturing yourself in that house when you're seeing all that family photo? No, you're thinking about what their family is like. So take away any personalized photos. And then there's just a lot of other personalization that we can definitely go into. So let's go back and let's just start talking about working with your client. Now, you've got a client, you're speaking with them about getting their house ready, and you really are going to be doing a walkthrough with them. That's the first thing to understand. We're going to be doing a walkthrough. So let's look at some broad strokes. The very first thing we want to do is start with curb appeal. You are going to walk your client all the way out to the street, and you guys are going to take a look at the house, and you're going to share a critical eye. The most important things, and we're going to look at some pictures in just a second. The most important things, you got to be able to see the house. Sometimes things are so overgrown that you can't even see the house, even though they have the most beautiful garden, but it may be so overgrown. Then start walking towards the house a little bit more. Okay. At the sidewalk, are there a bunch of weeds at the sidewalk, or do you see a lot of weeds in the grass or in the gravel, or however it's done? As you're walking forward, does everything just need to be power washed, maybe swept off? When you get to the front door, let me tell you one of the biggest things that most agents miss. Get to the front door and I want you to look up. Look up. What do you think I'm looking for when we look up? What's the number one thing that you think we might be looking for if we're standing at the front door and we're looking up to Adele, you're so right. Cobwebs. And we miss it. Here's why. When you're going home and you're driving home, do you go into your house through your garage or through the front door? Most people go in through their garage. So we need to make sure that when we go to that front stoop, it's completely cleaned off. It looks beautiful. And I'll show you one of my favorite pictures of a front stoop that's perfect in just a second. But we got to look up. We also need to look along the edge of the door. Does it have all sorts of just, black, or it's just dirty right there? How about the handle to the door? So everything is about curb appeal from the street all the way up until you get into right up at the front door. Okay. Now, here's another thing you're going to do. You're going to walk through every room. You're going to open every drawer, every closet, every cupboard, every cabinet. And what you're going to ask them to do, you want them to remove half of everything in every closet. By the way, if it's stuffed full, it might be even more than half. You want to be able to see maybe half stuff and half of the rest of the space. It's even better if it's less than that, but make absolutely sure that stuff is packed away. So you're going to walk through with them at the house. You're going to take copious notes, okay, on what things need to be packed away. You're going to ask them to take notes at the same time. And you're going to really look through all the drawers, everything, and see what needs to be packed away. Now, as you're going through here, this is also going to give you a real good idea of time. It will take people time to declutter, clean, and depersonalize. Some houses are going to take a lot longer than others. We have a tendency to go into a listing appointment and thinking, oh my gosh, can't wait to get it on the market next week. And they're not able to do that because there's a lot of work to be done. So make sure you're honoring kind of where the client is at that point in time. Here's the next thing. Organize the boxes in the garage. Now, I've seen this a lot where people will pack away their stuff, right? And they throw it all in the garage. So you've got someone walking around this beautiful house, and then they walk into the garage and they see this horrible nightmare. One of the interesting things about staging is also you want to stage the boxes that you've packed. What that means is every box you've packed has a label on it, and it's stacked neatly against a wall in the garage, unless they're using a storage unit. Stage the boxes as well, because there's something psychological about someone who walks into a garage and sees everything completely organized. Okay, there's the psychology. If it's all beautiful and pristine and organized and staged inside, it does need to be in the garage as well. Don't forget about the garage. Okay, so we'll see what Linda said here. She said deep clean the whole house. By the way, deep clean. That also means cleaning the carpets. That's important. Cleaning the baseboards, cleaning the blinds, cleaning the top of every picture. That's going to be important. You're going to clean the drawers. Clean the drawers. Now, sometimes your clients are absolutely happy to do this, but sometimes you need to bring in a cleaning company to really deep clean. So make sure that you have some people who you can recommend as a cleaner for this particular house, but you want to deep clean the house. Next, give the kitchen a facelift. So now we can start talking about some of the things that Keith was talking about, which is all about, okay, how do we start really upping the game with people? Okay. Want to remove everything off the countertops. I don't want to see a bunch of stuff, maybe one appliance, maybe a coffee pot. Beyond that, take everything away. Another thing that might be really important is change out the hardware. Now, hardware can be expensive, but if it makes sense to do it because the jewelry on the door on the doors matters, that could be good. And then show off storage. How do we show off storage? Well, the way we show off storage is showing the shelves. The only way we show the shelves is if we've packed up at least half of the stuff. Does that make sense? Okay, we just make sure that that kitchen is absolutely pristine. I want to be able to see the drawers inside it. I want to be able to see the countertops. I want to be able to see, by the way, nothing on the fridge. Nothing on the fridge. Okay, none of the magnets everywhere. I see those all the time. Please don't do that. Next one, pare down the furniture. So we were talking about furniture. I know, Robin, you said about furniture placement. What we want to be able to see is space between the furniture. So for example, I have a couch. I might have a table right next to it. I want space before the love seat. Or I might have the couch and even a little bit more space from the table. On the table, if I have a lamp, I want space around that lamp. I don't want it all just shoved in there. So I don't want to have so much furniture that everything's touching everything. I want to see the room. I want to be able to see through furniture to the wall. Okay. I want to make sure that if there is a rug there, I can also see the outskirts of the room. I want to see floorboard if I can. So when we're paring things down, we have to make sure that we can see the room. Now, you might have a family of 5 living there. Okay. And unfortunately, there's just no way that that would make sense for them. Then we have to really start thinking about, okay, what's the very best way to organize this furniture so it gives the most appealing look and feel to it. Okay. All of that comes through with what's aesthetically pleasing. And that really is about patterns in the room. Okay. And I'm going to show you when we look at some pictures in just a minute. I'll show you what we talk about in patterns. Okay. The next one is rethink the furniture placement. That's what we're talking about. Next one, add functional office space. Now, so many people are working from home now. So when we can add some type of functional space and show it off, that's important. For example, in the great room or in the family room or living room, is there a place we can put a desk and have a computer on it? Is there space like that in one of the bedrooms that we can do? Okay. Somewhere where we can actually have some functional office space. Okay. Let me ask you guys this. How many of you guys work from home? Type in I do if you work from home now. I know my team, we actually have people in other countries that work for our team, and people are all working from home. Yep, I do. Seeing a lot of I do's here. Absolutely. We work from home. I would assume then in one of your spaces, you actually have a functional office space inside there. Okay. I know I do. You guys do too. So we want to show that off if we can. Great. Next thing, depersonalize. Like I said, by the way, all those little collections that people have that they adore. Everyone know what those little like Hubble figurines are? Have you seen those? Or the wonderful, beautiful plate collection or teacup collection or hat collection? I've seen a lot of guys have the hat collection or the baseball collection. All of that has to go. All of it has to go. We don't want all those collections because the collections, for example, if I walk into your house, I see all those little Hubbles. Well, I don't collect Hubbles. That doesn't mean anything for me. So that makes me think this is your house, not my house. If those Hubbles aren't there, if those baseball collection is not there, then I can start seeing it as my house. Depersonalize. Next, make the bathroom shine. Oh my gosh, you got to make sure you're cleaning your grout. That's a big one. People forget. Sometimes people forget to use really pristine towels when you're staging. You might have the regular towels that you use every day, but then you always want to hang up the really pretty towels if you've got a showing. By the way, white towels are always the best. Doesn't make any difference what room you're in, whatever, white towels are the best. It's just that simple. Why? Because they're really clean. Now, if you have a really dingy bathroom, white towels might not be the best. So you might want to have off-white towels. But it really is something without a lot of design to it. It just helps the most. Okay. All right. Next, amp up the lighting. Lighting everywhere. I have so often gone into someone's, let's say, if I was staging it and I walk into their living room, they have no lighting. All they have is the upper lighting. And if you turn it off, it just glares. You really want to have pools of light. Okay. I'll show you what that looks like in just a little bit, but you want to have, not only is it light and bright, we want to make sure every window can be opened up and it's light and bright. And then we have pools of light as we're doing that. By the way, here's one thing I don't have on this list. Wash the windows. Wash the windows. Always wash the windows, because the worst thing that can happen, you have this gorgeous stage, wonderful room. You open up the windows and they're filthy. Always wash the windows. And most of us don't necessarily do that all the time. So that'd be one thing you'd want to do. All right. The next thing, erase signs of pets, dog beds, dog crates, cat towers, all those things need to go away. Now, sometimes the dog has got to live there. The cat's got to live there. I get it. But at the same time, they got to be removed for staging purposes. And vacuum all of the furniture. If you have pets, make sure that you vacuum the furniture. Have your clients vacuum the furniture and remove the litter box. If you got a showing, one of those things is you actually want to remove the litter box. You don't want it sitting in the bathroom or sitting in wherever it sits or the laundry room or whatever. Okay. Next, use colorful accessories and add greenery to add contrast. I'm going to show you some pictures of that in a moment. And then finally, make the bedroom serene and beckoning. Serene and beckoning. What does that mean? There are pillows on the beds. I know. And make sure we don't have a really wrinkled, old looking comforter on the bed that looks like it came out of, your house in the 1970s and now you've thrown it on your bed. We don't want to do that. Okay. All right. How are we doing so far? Is this making sense for everybody? Are we getting there? So far, are we getting some? My ideas. Thank you so much. I hear you. Yes. Thank you so much. Great. All right. I'm going to start with some pictures. Love it, Rita. Thank you so much. Love it. Thanks, Adela. Okay. Right now, I'm going to start showing some pictures and what I want you guys to do in the chat. So be ready to type in the chat. I'm going to show you some pictures. And I want you to tell me in the chat what is wrong with this picture. Okay. Does that sound fair? Is everybody ready? Now, this one you might say, by the way, these are all listing photos that I'm going to show you. Okay. These are straight off of real live listings. Okay. What is wrong with this picture? Tell me what you think. What is wrong with this picture? Kind of looks, kind of crisp, kind of clean. What do you see though? What do you see in this picture? And here's the question I'm going to ask you. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, oh my God, that's one of the best pictures ever. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you call it? 1 to 10. Lynn is saying very drab entrance. Plant material is very overgrown. Adela's saying it needs color. Great. One thing I want you to notice, guys, does it look like it is leaning to the right? Do you see how it's kind of leaning to the right? It's not framed out properly. House is not centered, awful bushes. Yes. Okay. Too much yard. Yes, yes, yes. All of it, right? It's a bit drab, right? And so, I mean, the brick on the house looks pretty, but when it's cantilevered like this, also the lighting, it's in the shadow. So we don't have contrast to it. What we want to always make our pictures be on a scale of 1 to 10, we want at least an 8. We want our pictures to be compelling. Now I'm going to show you an example. Look at the difference between this house and then this house. What do you think is the difference? What do you see in this house? Little house. What do you think is the most compelling thing in this picture? Welcoming. Absolutely. It's very welcoming. What else? Very colorful, very neat. I like how you're saying that, Lynn. Very colorful, very neat. Love, love, love that. Great. Vibrant. I love that. Absolutely. Great lighting. All of you guys have it wonderfully. See how it's beautifully framed? The picture is framed. I want you to look at the top left and the top right. Equal amounts of sky on each side gives it symmetry, right? It's very colorful. I love everything is dual. So you'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see the 3 bushes. On the right-hand side, you'll see the 3 bushes. On the left-hand side, you'll see the red pot. On the right-hand side, you'll see the red pot. See how it's got some really, really nice framing going on. That's a great photo. And they have spent some time with this photo getting it ready. So that's great. Now, compare this one to this one. All right. I don't know about you. By the way, this is not like an auction listing. This is not like a, you know, just an investor's listing. This is a regular listing that people are in. Okay. Do you think we're going to sell for top dollar on this? No. Okay. I understand it. Drain pipe on the roof. Absolutely. I didn't notice that. That's a good call. Get all the, why? Oh, I love that. Why, oh, why? Not flattering at all. The house is crooked in the picture. You're so right. It almost looks like it's falling backwards, doesn't it? All right. Now let's contrast that one with this one. Okay. Trees. Wonderful. This one on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys give it on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being, oh my God, this is the most gorgeous photo I've ever seen. Okay. 1 being, dear God, take it off right now. 9, Lynn is saying, okay, great. I like that. 9. Sure. Sure. What's making it a 9 for you guys? What's making it a 9? What do you think? I like the composition on this one. I think they did a very, very good job. I think it is a little tilted for my taste. So I think, again, it's kind of askew, but that's okay. Almost Perfect just needs a little bit more color. I would agree with you on that. I would agree with you. Okay, so let's move into the yards now. Here's a yard. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Poor photos are a disservice to the client. Adela, I like that you said that. So important. Okay. Okay, shows the distance from the road. That was the other one. Linda, I like that. Okay, here's a challenge. Now here's this one compared to this one. We can see the difference here. Now, one thing I like about this particular one, it's not overgrown planting. You're going to see the planting. They've got fresh mulch. They've got fresh planting in there. We're coming into spring. You guys really want to make sure you're looking at that. And by the way, if you have a fire pit, photograph it at twilight. See how this one is photographed, that you can even see when you look at it here, you can see the pools of light over here coming from that. That looks great, but you're showing off that fireplace. By the way, I wanted to show you my absolute favorite photo of an entrance. Look at this. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think about this one? Entrance. I don't know. I'm just sitting here going, oh, I think that's one of the best entrance pictures I have come across. I think it is. Absolutely, Rita. It's beautiful. Adela, it's 10. Yeah, I would agree with you. Totally agree. Now compare that one to this one. Okay. At least, if nothing else, turn the lights on. Okay. And there's little stuff over here, right? I mean, it's so dark up here. Here's another picture for you. What do you think about this one? This is an actual listing photo in a listing right now. Okay, here. Oh my goodness. It is an actual listing photo. Why would anybody, and that's on the in an MLS. That's a photo in the MLS. All right, let's go to this one then. How about that for an entrance? And look how you can see walls. You can see the door. It's bright. The one thing it's missing, and maybe it's not, it might have the light bulbs on right here. I don't think it is. And it should have this lamp turned on right here on here, so we can get pools of light. If we had pool of light right here, can you guys see my pointer, by the way? Robin, can you guys see my pointer?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So if we had a pool of light right here under this lamp, and if we had a pool of light right around the ceiling, right around the ceiling there, I think it would give it even more contrast. All right, let's look at this beautiful one. What are we selling here, guys? What is this picture of? I couldn't quite understand, other than maybe it's a picture for lumber liquidators. I don't know. Are we selling a corner? I have no idea what we're selling. Right? Linda's saying floors. You're absolutely right. Or look at this one. Can we make it more dingy? Now, I'm not trying to just bag on someone, but I'm going to show you a couple things here. This needs to go. This little flower thing at the very top. All these lights need to be on. You see, I can see the TV in the background, but I can't see the room. I can't tell what that is. right? So I just don't know what we're trying to look at. And if you'll notice, it's askew. Look like we're tipping off to the right-hand side. So framing of those photographs is very, very important. Let's look at this next one. Now, this is a dining room. Look how clean and neat and depersonalized that is. It is very nice, isn't it, Lynn? Absolutely. Here's another one. Great. Now, you're going to notice here that the room itself is very neutral. We have got some white, light gray, white here. I want to show you where they gave it some life. Okay, see the pops of yellow here? Against the gray, yellow is a great just snap of color. Steve, I heard you. My husband hates when I use the word pop, so I'll use a snap of color. On the table here, you have got some greenery. Again, you're getting some really good contrast when that is happening. So you'll see how it's drawing the eye back into the kitchen. It's just a terrific, terrific photo on this one. Let's talk about the exterior for a second and take a look at this. What do you think they are trying to sell? What was the intention of this picture? I'm wondering if it was the garage doors. I can't tell. The patio set, sure. The garage, sure. Are they trying to sell the car? If not, why is the car in the driveway for the picture? And then why isn't it head on? Also, you're going to notice the garbage cans. We don't want to see that. All right. If you're going to show off a garage doors, how about doing it like this? All right. Straight on. Straight on. Seems like it's a detached garage, although not flattering. You're right. And it might be, Rita. But again, what we want to see is, I mean, and again, it's falling off to the right. It's like it looks like the foundation is sinking over to the right. Again, it's all about framing and knowing how to photograph, just like this one. Okay, hide the hose though. You're right. We have a hose right here. That would have been a good thing to remove. Another good thing to remove, we probably should have blown off all of these, all of the leaves here. Can you guys see all that? This might have been a fall picture. You can kind of tell just by the sky up here. Another thing I might have done is close this window up here. You see at the very top left there. So these are just some of the things we're going to notice. All right. So on the broad strokes, really understanding what are good and bad photos is important. Now, do you have, by the way, before I move on, any questions on what we just looked at? Anything wasn't clear? Was that all making sense for everybody? I'm going to stop my share for a second. Okay. Did we learn a little bit on that? Is that good stuff? Understanding photography and understanding how that picture looks at the first get-go is so important. I'm loving to see your thumbs up. Thank you, everybody, so much. All right, I'm going to take us into now some tools of the trade and techniques. Okay, this is called a vignette. Okay, a vignette is a small moment. A small moment when you have everything is cleared and decluttered, you still want to bring some life into something. So this is a small moment. You'll notice here that it is simply, there's a lot of white in this kitchen. Keith, we were talking about kind of white, right? There's a lot of white. We're breaking this up a little bit with this wonderful little kind of maple color and then some greenery, but it's a moment. It still looks really fresh, really clean, but it is a vignette. Now let's take a look at this vignette a little more. There are two vignettes coming up here. There's two. First of all is this little grouping. And by the way, you're going to notice that most vignettes have odd number of things in them. I don't know why that is for human psychology. If any of you guys know why, put it in the chat, why psychology says it's anything is always going to be in odd numbers. So we have there, and then we have three pillows over here. Again, we've got some contrast going on. So this just kind of shows you what those vignettes are. Here's one, and this is interesting. By the way, this is a house that I staged a long time ago. And this was in a very, very, very dated house. But one thing you'll notice, we have the book. We've got the little staged vignette here. God, I think I did this one like 10, 12 years ago. My goodness. And then it was just a few things that we brought in just to bring a little bit of life. You'll notice how we have some contrast with the lighting on the table, lighting the walls. If we don't have that turned on, it looks flat. Does that make sense for everybody? So it's just that vignette. Awesome. Let's look at the next one. Here's one for you. Okay, again, vignette, there's 3. And then there's a book, right? Again, can you see the pools of light? That's all so important, those little pools of light. All right. Now, first of all, any questions on vignettes? Does that make sense? Little things. You don't want to overwhelm the room at all, but it's those little things. I'm going to show you, though, a space that I think is one of the best staging compositions I've seen. This is a cabinet in a home. Now, you'll notice this is very white, clean, but I want you to notice how many of the pieces of decor are white. White on white. Isn't this fascinating? But you're going to see where the contrast colors come in. Here's what I want you to show you. Do you notice I'm in the top left shelf here? You'll notice that we've got a little bit of gleaming here, but that one is towards the back. That gives us dimension. And then we add some color here, just a little bit of a neutral color here. You can look at all of these things. This center shelf, you're going to notice that there is shadow, and then there is light and shine. This is giving it dimension. We're always wanting dimension, but we don't want to overwhelm the shelf. Therefore, what they're doing here is taking the white and simply enhancing the space by allowing it to give definition without drawing the eye too much towards the things. What they're doing, they're allowing the things to show off the space, not the space to show off the things. Is that making sense? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense, because it's an interesting one. This is a little bit advanced as far as what the staging goes, but yeah, I love all the thumbs up. Thank you so much. I love the thumbs up. Okay, that's making sense. You'll notice we have several different colors in here, but on the most part, the colors are this nice maple color everywhere. That's really what they went for, or it's green or it's gray. There's a palette of 4 colors. You've got the white, the maple, the gray, and the green. Okay, that works there. Now let's take a look at something else. This is from that same dated home that I did. Oh my gosh. And you can even kind of tell from these curtains, we left those up. But what we ended up doing is giving it life. There wasn't a lot of life in the room. So you're going to notice that we did a lot of greenery and yellow. What we wanted to do is take attention away from the room a bit, because the folks that were selling this did not have the ability to paint. They didn't have the financial ability to paint and things. So we gave it life. So that's where green comes in. Green will bring in life to a lifeless room. But you'll notice we still stayed very neutral in a lot of the color palette here. Here's another one. And this is one I staged, and we really wanted to give it a lot of dimension. This was a very cold, empty room with a big high ceiling. So what we did, we added these window treatments. We added all of these kind of furniture, and it really allowed us to create a moment in this space. But you'll notice you still see the space. For example, what I was saying before, you see between the chairs how I can see the wall here. That's going to be important. I can still see the baseboards here. So important. I can see the wall here. I can even see where we hung the curtains. I can still see it. I don't have these all the way closed. I want to see the space. So we want to create a placement that really anchors the space and allows someone to see how large that room is. Okay. Here's another one. And this one was fun because this is all about color in a space. This room is primarily gray and white. Now, I did tell you about the white towels, but we wanted to bring in some contrast here. And you're going to notice that with the complement of the gray and the white, this blue is a beautiful complement to that gray and the white. So we wanted to do this kind of wonderful aqua color and then bring that in against these. And one thing I will show, this is an itty bitty little moment here. The opposite color of aqua is orange. When you use opposites on the color wheel, that will give you some composition. And you'll notice just this itty bitty little snap of color really helps you kind of just see a moment in the room. It's just a little fun on that one. Okay. All right. Is that making sense as far as composition and color? Give me a thumbs up if that's making sense for you. Or if you got a question about what we just talked about, I'll give you just a second to type that into the chat. What kind of question would you have about that? Love all the thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Great. Any more questions on that? Okay, you want to see some before and afters? These will be fun, and I'm going to show you this. Okay, so this is a before. This is actually a listing that was on the market that had expired, and then they hired me as their agent, and I came in, and this was an actual listing. And by the way, you'll see the box here. Okay, they were packing up. Right, I'm going to show you what I ended up doing to it. And everything that I decorated with came from Goodwill. That's what we made it look like. Now, you're going to notice a couple things. I'm going to go back. I want you to see the tables, okay, and the furniture. And I want you to see the angle. Look at the angle, and then look, we have the same tables. We have the same furniture. Here's what we did. We re-angled, so repositioned this chair over here. Again, we brought a lot of blue and green. Everything that was decor came from Goodwill. Okay. Right. Linda, you're saying my pet peeve is pictures of the furniture, not the whole room. Gotcha. We want to see it. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of where that does make sense and that doesn't make sense. Okay. This room, what we wanted to really look at is the size of this space. Now, we also have several pictures in this where we back it up. This is more about the staging. Let me show you another one. Okay. This was the listing photos. It did not get sold. So they asked me to come in. I took it over, and that's what we did for the staging of it. And again, you're going to see we really had no life there. By the way, you'll notice here where we have all the open windows. We probably don't want to do that since that neighbor is right there. So what we did in this picture is we closed them. But we do have pools of light. You're going to notice that. Of course, we have the fireplace, right? So just a little bit of things that show off that room. Now, this one is interesting, and we actually had a picture of this one that does show the whole dining room. I actually pulled one that I just want to show you what we did to the table. This is actually just a nice little vignette we put on the table, nice, clean, easy. So this is a staging photo there. This isn't actually one of the big photos. Okay, now I want to take you to a house that was fascinating. This house was ancient. By the way, that's like a Brady Bunch staircase, right? The floor is just needing so much love. An ancient kind of fireplace. This is about straight out of 1960s, and it looked like someone lived there from the 1960s. So what we want to do is bring it up to speed. And I really wanted to give a ton of life into this space. By the way, it had been on the market for 7 months before they finally took it off the market. When I came in and I staged it for a different real estate agent. They got an offer in 2 days after we staged it. We put it back on the market, and this is what we did with it. Again, you're going to notice there's a lot of movement in this space. You're going to notice we have pools of light. We have lamps everywhere. We have color even in the back area here, and I'll show you a different angle there. So you'll see how we have just kind of this grouping right over here. We're showing off underneath those stairs, but we gave it life everywhere. I love the use of green when we're giving light somewhere. And so this one, all it was is we gave life to it. Here's another one. This was some clients that had a listing. This was their listing photo. It was a for sale by owner. They had it on the market, I want to say about 6 months. And then I came in, I took the listing, and we staged it a bit. Some things we did, if you'll notice here, we have the same bed, right? They've got this light here, and they have this was actually a kind of a file cabinet drawer. It wasn't really a side table. And then it's just kind of that. And I love that they had this in their photo of the Mickey Mouse sweatshirt. Okay, so this is what we did. Same bed, took away the lighting. We put up curtains. I'm a real big believer that you have frames for your windows, and that's what curtains are. And then we gave some real fun contrast. Here's a different angle of that particular room. They had a chair in there they had to have because mom was nursing baby. And so that stayed in there, but that was okay. And then so we just staged it with some nifty stuff. Let me show you their bathroom. This was the bathroom that they actually had this picture in their listing for their bathroom. Okay, here's what we did. I actually had them paint the bathroom, and this is what it ended up with. Okay, so you guys can see, oh my gosh, such a difference in the space. Okay, now I want to show you one of my favorites of all time. This house had been on the market, no kidding, 7 years. 7 years. Okay, 7 years. So what happened is the people who bought this house bought it for $850,000. It's a 5,200 square foot house. Okay. Yeah, you can see that in, thanks, Linda. It's a 5,200 square foot house. And yet when you walked in this house, it was so cold. It was so cold and uninviting. So the people bought the house, and then I came in and I actually did some interior design for them. So I want you to see this before. By the way, a couple things to look at. Okay. Look at this fireplace. It looks like a monstrosity in this room. These are all white walls. The staging furniture that they were using in here never should have been in this huge, great room. Ever, ever, ever. So what my goal was to try to make this fireplace work. Okay. So let me show you what I did with color. That's what we did. Now you'll notice that color I pulled straight out of what was in this fireplace tile. That color is actually in this tile. Then we've got groupings of pillows. You're going to notice you probably did not even see that alcove. It was just an afterthought. Here we made it something really spectacular. All right. So again, just very big difference. You'll notice that we put the desk, there's more lighting. We always have lighting, right? And I want to show you another listing. This is one of the listing before they did this staging here. They actually had a stage like this. Okay, give me 2 or 3 words of how you would name that room. What do you see? If you were going to title that picture, what do you see? Tell me in the comments, because I know what I see, but I want to see what you guys think. Sun porch. Yep. Okay. I see. Yep. Playroom. Okay. What else? I see Florida retirement home. Does anybody see that with me? Nothing wrong with Florida retirement homes, but I mean, we're talking about all these plants up here. They didn't know what to do with the negative space on this one. So here's what we did. You'll notice that over here, when you can't even see it, there's nothing on the walls other than drawing space. You can tell why this didn't sell for 7 years. I know, I'm crying too on this one. All right, here though, you'll notice that we filled negative space, and these walls are 18 feet high. We went high. We made it an art gallery in this space. Now what I'm actually showing you guys is interior design. You may or may not do that. Here's what you may or may not do. In interior design, you might not, or in staging, you're probably not going to have all these things on the upper side of it. You may in this kitchen, and I don't have a picture for that kitchen, unfortunately. You might not have all the stuff all the way up the walls, but certainly when you've got this grouping here, you have got the, the couches, you've got the anchoring rug here. Those are things that you absolutely could do. This was a big property. I'm going to keep going on with this particular property. So this is what they had in the master bedroom. That's a queen bed. This master bedroom is massive. It's about 24 by 22 is how big it is. And I'm digging on this palm tree. I hope, how would you guys feel if you had like this palm tree in your, can we start seeing why it didn't sell because of this? Here's what we did to it then. There you go. Again, we're showing off the space. We actually painted the room. We made it an accent color. Do you notice how you can tell here how big those ceilings are? You didn't see that here. It just is an all afterthought. They've grounded it so hard and heavy with those dark colors. Here then, all we do is we bring a little bit of artwork on. Again, you'll notice we always have the lamps. We have the lamps on the ceiling. You're going to see the lights are turned on just a little bit over here. There's a big mirror here. So again, we gave it some life in it. And because there was so much wonderful light that could come into this room, it just made it beautiful there. Here's one last picture in this particular house. This was there were two bathrooms in the master suite. Okay, this one, we see a whole lot of like camel color and you're just not seeing enough. They took the color from the floor here. Let me show you what we did here. We actually brought it up. Now, do you see the columns now? I bet you didn't notice them over here very much. But here we do have them. All right. So you see we've got comparison contrast. Still, there's color from the floor, right? But we really brought in this contrasting color with this. Now, I want to share this with you guys. So exciting. This house actually sold. When the first buyers bought it, they bought it for $850. 5 years later, they sold it when we did this kind of staging and design for them. They sold it for $1.5 million in 5 years. So from $850, which had been on the market for 7 years, to 5 years when the sellers were ready to sell it, they sold it for $1.5 million. Okay. Yeah, I love that. I love you guys emojis. You have oh yes, absolutely. Okay. Isn't that fascinating how that will work? That's why staging, interior design, right, is important, but staging, absolutely. Color placement, they make a difference with your listings. You want to do that. Now I'm going to go real quickly here. I want to go through the question of, do you stage it yourself or do you not? Okay, you're going to stage it yourself if you have an eye for design, color, composition, and furniture placement. You have the decor items on hand. That could be really helpful. You could also rent them or buy them as needed. And by the way, you can find furniture at a local furniture rental place. A lot of times they'll let you rent furniture for a very reasonable amount. So you can always go there. And then next, you have the budget to purchase those items. And I use the word budget. You always want to have a budget. You have time to stage it yourself. And it makes sense given the condition of the property. Always consider your return on investment and timing. Sometimes you have a property that it doesn't do you any good to spend the money or even to stage it because it is such a house. It's going to be a fixer-upper. You might as well do that. Now, you're going to use a professional stager if design just isn't your thing. Please use a professional if it isn't your thing, especially going into the market we're going in now. You want to be very, very careful of making sure you are representing your client at the best possible way. You have no decor items on hand. That might be a reason to use it. It's a luxury property and needs a professional's touch. I have seen people, you saw in those other rooms, it was an agent. The agent staged it himself. And it really wasn't done well for that luxury property. Next, you have the budget to hire a stager or you're building it into your listing budget. You don't have the time to stage it yourself, or it makes sense given the condition of the property. Again, always consider your return on investment and timing. Okay. What questions do you have? Okay, biggest takeaways. What is your biggest takeaway so far in our conversation. Biggest takeaway. By the way, I want you to notice as your consignment stores are my friend. I love that, Linda. I want you to notice behind me. Okay. You're going to notice I have two lights and I have this color placement behind me. Okay. I actually do that. So I have staged behind me as we are doing our presentations here. You'll notice my white chair with the white credenza in the back. Even there, you can start seeing how design helps, right? I wear colorful things whenever we do our things. Interesting. Good tips on lighting and color. Great. Staging will almost always guarantee a better sale price. You better believe it. Contrasting colors. Absolutely. All of those things are very, very important. You guys have done really, really well. It's just so important these days to really understand it. I'm always going to tell you, err on the side of caution, build into your listing, commission price for having a professional stager if you can. I think that is always something important. Now, where can you learn more about this? Well, you know what? We actually teach this in our two programs. We do have two for you. We have 12 weeks to breakthrough. That is for experienced agents, wonderfully experienced agents who are really looking for a breakthrough and expanding your horizons. We are seeing right now in our 12 weeks to breakthrough, we are seeing our clients triple their business. How many of you guys want to triple your business? Say I. Yes, you do. I know you do. So it's so important. Also, we have Jumpstart. So exciting. So this is our program for brand new agents who have just gotten into the business, or for agents who are relaunching their business. You're starting over. Maybe everything just fell off the cliff and you want to start back over. That is Jumpstart. So those are our two programs. If you want to learn more, you can always go to our website. It is right here, www.finley-re.com. Feel free to scan this QR code. It'll take you directly to our website. There's a ton of information on there. By the way, we have great videos on there from some of these classes that we're doing are on there. I even have my favorite reading list, my favorite podcasts. They're all on there. You can watch and read lots of testimonials from people if you want to know more. That's there. And for all of you guys who are here in this class right now, I would love to invite you to have a complimentary business consultation with me. I am so happy to sit down with you and just have a consultation. I think there's a few people that have joined us today that have actually done that with me. So feel free, scan this QR code. Would love to sit down with you. Just schedule that. We'll spend about 45 minutes to an hour and we just talk about your business. That's what we do. Great fun. And then finally, if you are not a member of our Facebook group, we'd love to have you join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/breakthrough-RE. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Really, really, really appreciate it. Love to sit down and chat with you. I'm going to let you get back to your day. Have a phenomenal day, everybody. Talk to you later.